The guys that buy my converts, when I sell a convertible bond, I have a 1-hour phone call. I'm like, okay, this is the bond. This is what we're going to do. Okay, they buy 800 million of it at the end of the day. Okay, why? It's like they have the money. They have to buy a convertible bond. They can't. They're like, why don't they buy Bitcoin? They can't. Why don't they buy your equity? They can't. They need to buy. There's a phrase in Wall Street: if the ducks are quacking, feed the ducks. They want that. There's another group of people. They want equity in a public company. They can't buy the spot ETF. They can't. It's against their charter. They get fired. They just can't. Why don't they? Well, you're questioning the world, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the world is made up of huge pools of capital, and it might have taken 20 years to raise the money. Now I got to spend the money. So if you are the entrepreneur, my general message is you can create a security that a capitalist can then use to get Bitcoin exposure. And if you're public, you sell public equity or debt and buy Bitcoin. And if you're private, you'll sell private equity or private debt and buy Bitcoin. If you can't raise money, then you just got to work very, very hard and get lucky. And it's hard. And you'll see a Zuckerberg on occasion. You'll see some breakthroughs. But, it's like it's not easy. And so my recommended strategy is not work yourself to death. My recommended strategy is notice that there are $450 billion of capital in bonds and real estate and traditional 20th century assets. There's 1 trillion. So there's 450 trillion in those things. There's 1 trillion in Bitcoin. You should be the conduit to move the next $1 trillion from the old world to the new world. And the way you do it is by raising money with issuing securities to buy Bitcoin. And you solve, what's the problem you solve? Custody it for them, buy it for them, take away the volatility, take away the downside risk, and then solve the compliance issue. Chinese billionaires got to buy Bitcoin through a Shanghai ETF, otherwise he goes to jail.
Right.
That's the problem you solve. It's not as good as self-custody. It's not as good as the raw Bitcoin, but that's academic because when you've got $10 billion and your choice is buy $1 billion this way or go to jail or don't buy any, the world is imperfect. That's why they call it earth, not heaven.